So we actually begin with Copernicus back in the 15th century, who was looking at the heavens and he said, we're doing something wrong. We need a paradigm shift. He said that the planets aren't revolving around the Earth. Planets are revolving around the sun. He said, we need a paradigm shift. We're doing this all wrong. Well, in our own universe, we need a paradigm shift as well. We're doing it all wrong, right? I'm not going to be happy until. Finish the project, get the raise, get the promotion, marry the perfect spouse. I got the big house in the suburbs. I get the shiny new car. I'm not going to be happy when, right? But a guy in 1998 named Dr. Martin Seligman said, wait. I don't know if he actually said that, but he said something to the effect. He said, wait, why don't we study when it's going right? Why don't we study happiness, optimism, and positivity? Why don't we study when people are thriving? Why don't we study from flourishing? I think we can learn from that. So today's presentation is really a summary of that 25 years that basically said this, that happiness precedes success. In fact, happiness causes success. That is what all the research in the last 25 years says.
I want to make sure that I get permission from you. I saw legal and compliance here earlier, and I gotta make sure that I ask you. I need your permission. Is it okay? And I want you to answer this with, oh yeah. Okay? Is it okay if during the course of our time together that I do get a little bit different, that I do get a little bit unorthodox, and at some moments or two it might get a little bit weird? Is that okay with you? Oh yeah! Okay, well done. That's the MA that I know.
So the brain is this fascinating thing, right? It's about the size of a softball, shaped more like a football. The brain is made up of 86 billion neurons, and each one of those neurons can make at least 5,000 other connections. The average brain weighs about 3 pounds, but I've met a lot of you. I'd say the group in here, maybe 3'2", 3'3". Our brains, your brains, because of evolution, because of early humankind, has a negativity bias, right? Your brain has a negativity bias no matter how positive you are. That is evolution. Early humankind was always scanning for what? Was always scanning for danger, right? It was better to miss lunch than be lunch. And that part of evolution hasn't changed. We still default to the negative way too much, but we still default to the negative. When something negative happens, the brain goes, oh, I can learn from that. Let me put that into long-term memory. When something positive happens, the brain goes, I really can't learn from that. Gone. Which is why in my workshop, I have an 8-hour workshop, and I do a savoring exercise. I said, you got to change that negativity bias. You got to savor your positive moments more and change that genetic code that says we have this negativity bias. Now, the #1 intervention for raising happiness scores is gratitude. The #1 intervention for raising our happiness scores is gratitude. So let's begin changing our neural structure right now, combating the effects of evolutionary imposed negativity bias. Now, we all have self-limiting beliefs. I know there's a lot of coaches in here, and what do coaches do? And you guys are wonderful at doing this. You're getting at beliefs. But the biggest obstacles that are in our way are the ones that are self-imposed, are the ones that we put there. This is such a perfect example of that, the fact that we have this infinite ability to fool ourselves. So in the 40s and 50s, science said that if man broke the 4-minute mile, he would die. I'm not trying to be melodramatic, that's what they said. Man, if he breaks the 4-minute mile, he will die. Nobody broke the 4-minute mile until 1954. Roger Bannister from the UK broke the 4-minute mile. Here's a fascinating example of how we put our own obstacles in the way, self-limiting beliefs, because in the next 13 months, 6 other people broke the 4-minute mile. They gave themselves permission. What are your beliefs that hold you back in terms of trying to focus on happy, optimistic, and positive? And we perform better at work. Our brains are literally different when we're happy, optimistic, and positive. We focus better. We're more disciplined. We're more creative. We're more innovative. We're able to leverage the resources in our brain, and we open up the learning centers in our brain when we're happy, optimistic, and positive. I'm going to leave you with this thought. Success in life is determined by the sum total of our choices. You can still choose to put success first. You can still choose to put success first. But the research and the data tells us that happiness is going to be elusive. Or you can choose happiness, optimism, and positivity. Sean Akers says something wonderful about happiness. He says, happiness without meaning is only pleasure. I am not talking about the hedonic pleasures of life, and you go back home and said, Don said I should be happy, and you start chowing down on Snickers bars. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about virtuous, community-driven, deep-seated, thoughtful happiness. If we pursue happiness, optimism, and positivity first, not only will we be happy, but success will follow. Thank you.